Hi guys, this is Most Flow and welcome to my channel. The title of my vlog is called When Holding On Hurts, or Holding On Hurts I should say. And the reason why I felt that it was important to do that vlog is because there are so many of us that are holding on and suffering in silence, holding on to relationships and suffering in silence. And my thing is that these women are coals, right? And the coal needs to be refined to become a diamond. And it's not going to happen in the relationships that they're in, because in essentiality they're not in relationships, they're in situationships. Okay, if you were in a relationship with somebody, the operative word is relate. You could relate to each other. In these situationships, there is no relation. There is abuse. A lot of times, one party is narcissistic and controlling, and that is dangerous. It damages the self-esteem, it damages the perception and the sense of reality. It damages the morale. It damages the ego. It damages happiness. It damages the desire to achieve or to step out and make something more for themselves and for the relationship so that it can be healthy, because it takes on a controlling demeanor or a controlling aspect that positions that person or cocoons that person into a position of stagnation. And so um I'm gonna talk really and truly from a reality perspective, but I have written down like 8 things that Psychology Today says that basically why people stay in relationships, right? And the first thing that they're saying is despair and guilt. And that comes from a fear of distorted thoughts. Okay, well, I'm not even going to number one, despair and guilt, because I feel like number one can be reeled into or fed into the other 8. Number two is damaged self-worth, feeling of being beaten down and having no value. When you're in a relationship with somebody who don't value you, when you're in a relationship with somebody who don't care about you, it actually takes a toll on you. You know, for instance, I know someone that was in a relationship, or probably is in a relationship, and that person just feels mentally drained. According to what she told me, she feels mentally drained. Um, the thing is, they don't talk. They do not talk. It's like two strangers in a house. Two strangers in a house. And what happens is, a lot of times, some of these men, they play manipulative mind games, and they like to make people feel like as if, or the female feel like as if she is guilty. She is the guilty party. Nothing, according to her, nothing that she ever did or do for this man is enough. He will acknowledge, for instance, anything that anybody else do for him and put it on a pedestal and make it seem like as if they're giving him the world, when anything that she does is like less than. So in essentiality, somebody could give him a penny and he would act like that person gave him $1,000,000, and she could give him $1,000,000 and he would act like she gave him a penny. And so her question to me is, why is it that he's treating me this way, or why is it that he diminishes my worth? I said, he diminishes your worth for a lot of different reasons. Number one is you allow him to diminish your worth. Number two is he don't know his own worth. for him to diminish your worth. You know, he can't see past his own worth. He feels intimidated by you. Okay, he wants to keep you at a point of stagnation because your light is so bright, and your future, he can see your worth. He see your worth, and he see your future. He see that it's so bright, but he wants to curtail it because he don't want anybody else to see it. Maybe he feels like, hey, I'm gonna lose her to somebody else. Maybe he feels like he is less than, and that you are too good for him. You understand? So that's probably the reason why he's doing the things that he's doing. But nonetheless, we're not making excuses for this loser. You understand? You have to get yourself together, get yourself back on track, and make the decisions that you need to make to step out of that relationship and step back into your own perception, your own reality, your own future, your own vision. The third thing that Psychology Today says is fear of physical and emotional pain. Sometimes I talked about how she was saying that, like, he psychologically abuses her, right? Diminishes her worth. Talk about her weight. Oh, you're getting fat. When this girl, this young lady, I think she's fabulous. You understand? But you're getting fat. And she's like, well, he's telling me I'm getting fat, and she's watching her diet. I'm like, listen, if you're going to watch your diet for you. You don't watch it for no man. Okay? Because number one, he's comparing you to somebody else. Because he's talking about you're getting fat, but he's not looking at those two babies that you had for him. Okay? When he met you, you were fine and fabulous according to him. But 2 babies later, you're getting fat. This young lady wasn't even past 150 pounds, but she's getting fat. I mean, there are so many things that the abuser does to abuse his or her victim. But in this case, we're going to keep it to the male because we're talking about females. I'm not going to go all over and run around and confuse this situation with you guys, okay? There are so many things that the abuser does to confuse his victim and to diminish her and to break her down and to make her feel like she is less than. And that is one of them. Oh, you're getting fat. Oh, physical pain. He starts to hit on her, abuse her, and she stays there because what? She loves him. She stays there because of the kid. You understand? The kids. But we're gonna take that into number 4, wanting to be a savior. Okay? Feeling or desiring to help or love with hopes of changing, pity, or thinking their love will change him. Your love cannot change him. He doesn't love himself. So how does he know how to love you? You understand? Your love cannot and will not change him. Newsflash. Newsflash. I mean, the same script has been already written and played out over and over again by so many different casts. So many different casts. It is time for we as women to start walking in our destiny. It is time for us to realize our self-worth. And I know that it's easy to say it because trust and believe me, I have been there. It is easier said than done. It's going to take a lot of soul searching. It's going to take some deep delve into self. It's going to take a lot of time by yourself, a lot of tears, a lot of fears, a lot of pain, a lot of energy. Okay? But it can be done. It can be done. And it has to be done. Okay? You stay because of the children. You put your children ahead of, but to me, I feel like if we as women, with children, stay in relationships because of our children, we are hurting our children. We're not helping them, because it does not help a child to see mommy and daddy fighting or mommy and daddy unhappy, because the child then grows up with a false sense of what should be, a false sense of perception, a false sense of reality, thinking that it's okay to stay in those kind of relationships, or it's okay to treat people the way that daddy treated mommy, or it's okay to accept the abuse that mommy accept from daddy because that's normal. I mean, if mommy accepted it, I mean, then it has to be normal. And so they probably would try to, or not try to, they probably would accept it from somebody else, knowing or feeling within themselves that it's not right, but because it happened so much and they were conditioned to it from a very young age, they would think that it is normal. It is not normal. The next thing is family expectations. Growing up in like situations, like I just talked about that. Distant reality, religious pressures. Oh, forget it. The church, some of these churches, they like to tell you, oh, you married, you got to stay married. You do not have to stay. Hello, newsflash. You do not have to stay married to an abuser. Okay? You do not have to stay married to an abuser. You have to know your worth. You have to walk away. You have to save yourself. You have to save your life. Um, Finances. A lot of times the female is not in a situation to survive. I mean, I know one time I met this lady. I was working in this store part-time, and I met this lady, and she started telling me her story. She was a female contractor, and she was married to a man. Before she was a contractor, she was married to a man who was a contractor. They had a business. She helped him start the business. The business was doing excellent. It was a six-figure business, high six-figure, nearly seven-figure business. They were doing excellent. They had 4 little kids, back to back. So I think the oldest child, she said, was 11. The youngest child was like about 5. And so of course, infidelity came into play, and he left her for another woman. And she said when he left her with a mortgage, and he walked out and left her with all the bills. And she went to the bank, a couple of days later to try to draw some money, and he closed the accounts. So she was broke. She lost the house. She didn't have any food to feed her children. She lost the house, and necessity is the mother of invention. And so what she did was she fell back on what she knew. Well, she helped him start that business. So guess what? She went and she started it herself. She started a business herself. She went to Home Depot and she started getting contractors to work for her. She got a general contractor license, and she learned her measurements and metrics. And of course, she's a female. She has a kind of like artistic flair for interior decorating, and she just went at it and grew her own six-figure business, because necessity is the mother of invention. Females, women, we are resilient. Okay, we know how to make $1 out of 50 cents. We know how to bounce back. We know how to stay strong and support our families. Okay, we know how to stand firm and help our children, and help ourselves progress. We know how to dig deep inside and pull out that inner strength and move forward. And I think sometimes, it's just a harsh reality that a lot of us need, because we end up in these relationships and we forget. We let ourselves go. We depend on these men. We become submissive, thinking that if we submit 100% and give him 100% control, then, he will love me and he will stay with me. I'm not saying to disrespect your husband or your significant other, or not let the man be the man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to not lose yourself, not lose yourself 100% in a relationship to the point where you are vulnerable and you become a victim, and he the predator and you the prey. That's all I'm saying. You have to have some kind of self-worth. You have to know yourself. You have to keep some kind of control, some kind of self-control within your own grasp so that you have something to fall back on. And finally, isolation. They like to separate you from your family and from your friends, and isolate you so that you cannot cry out for help, or so that your family can't see the signs. And let me tell you what some of those signs are. Like, sometimes if you're talking to somebody that is your close friend or a family member or whatever, and they're in a relationship, and the man comes home, I gotta call you back, let me call you back, and they don't ever call you back. They can't talk to you on the phone when the man is around. Okay? There is a difference between, I'm not going to talk to you on the phone when my man is around because I want to spend quality time with my man, and two, I gotta call you back, I gotta call you back, I never call you back. If you can't be on the phone when he walks in, okay, and tell the person, hey, my boo just walked in, or I'm gonna call you back later, I want to spend some time with my honey or whatever, then something is wrong. If you gotta whisper, I gotta call you back, and you just slam the phone down in the person's ear, something is wrong. Okay? If you have to call your girlfriend when he's gone to complain and lament about him, something is wrong. I don't understand why we stay in these relationships trying to be saviors. And I'm not talking about this from a point of judging, because I myself have been guilty of the same exact thing. It is hard to find yourself when you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person that has diminished your worth. It is hard to find yourself when you're in a relationship that has totally stripped you of everything that you have accomplished in life, where you have to actually pick yourself up from rock bottom and start over, where your mind is so shadowed and in shambles that you don't know if you're coming or going. It is hard. It can actually drive, and has actually driven, women over the edge. It is hard. And I know that sometimes, like, a young lady, she was like, well, you know what, I just want to sometimes I feel like I just want to kill him, and I'm like, why? He's not worth it. He is not worth it. I myself have been right there, where I'm like, man, look, I'm so sick of this. I'm just, you think a million thoughts go through your mind, but at the end of the day, you got to realize that there's a bigger entity and a bigger force, a greater being than you and I, and then you, I, and him out here. You understand? And he's going to have to deal with the hurt and pain that he caused you at some point in his life. You understand? But the best success, the best revenge, is success. The best revenge is walking away and, picking up the pieces and trying step by step to regain your life. Because eventually, through prayer and just consistent persistence, you will regain your life. And one day you look back and say, can't believe I was even with this person. You understand? Because you deserve more. You deserve more. So for that young lady that was crying, that was pouring her heart out on Facebook when all those insensitive people were being so mean and nasty to her, you deserve more. For that mother that's sitting in the house right now with those kids that, feel like she's trapped and she don't want to leave because she doesn't have any money, or, you deserve more. And your children deserve more. For that young lady that's staying with that man because he has diminished her self-worth and she's looking at his finances, or she just feels like she feels like she can change him. If she just love him, he'll change and he'll recognize and realize how much she loves him. You deserve more. For all my sisters, I'm here to tell you, you need to walk. Walk. As a matter of fact, don't walk. Run out the door. Run to your freedom. Run to your confidence. Run to your sense of self-worth. Run to your pride. Run as fast as you can. Leave that relationship. Run. Until next time, this is Liberal, aka Most Flow.